Hi guys, for this BUBU, this is the fabric we'll be using. We'll be using 2 yards of this luxury damask fabric. Some people call it brocade, some people call it damask, but this is it. Then we'll be attaching this mirror face luxury fabric as well. From the inspo picture, what we have there is this brocade fabric and a plain damask combination. But for this tutorial, I'll be using this mirror face, okay, because I feel like it will look different and it's not looking like copy and paste. Okay, so let's get into this tutorial. The first thing you want to do is to fold your fabric into two. I'm going to fold my fabric into two this way, okay. Now I'm going to fold this other fabric into two and place it right on top of this one. The next thing I'm going to do is to draw my starting line at this point. So this is going to be my starting line and it's also going to be my shoulder line. Okay, let me shift this a little. Now I'll start placing my measurements. The first measurement I'll be placing is my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 16. Divided by 2 is 8 inches, so I'll be placing 8 inches here. I want my BUBU to have a pleat of about 6 inches, so from this point I'll add 6 inches. And the sleeve of the BUBU is going to be 10 inches, so I'm going to mark 10 inches at this end. Okay, so we have 3 markings on this shoulder line. The first marking is our shoulder measurement divided by 2. The second marking is 6 inches because I want to have a pleat of 6 inches, and then my length of my sleeve. From this shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 12 inches. I'm going to measure the widest part of my body, which is my hip, and that's 40 inches, and I'll divide it by 4, which is 10 inches. I'm going to place that 10 inches here. Add this 6 inches that we have here for the pleat, so I'm going to add 6 inches to that. I'll be adding 2 inches because I don't want it to be fitted, so this 2 inches is going to be like the ease allowance, and that's what we have. Let me draw a straight line across this point. So this is our last point. From this shoulder line here, I'm going to come down with 10 inches, and this point is going to be our sleeve opening, right? The next measurement I'll be placing now is going to be our full length. Our full length for this BUBU is going to be 60 inches. So I'm going to carefully move my fabric on this table and measure at 60, and I'll add extra 1 inch for my hemming allowance. I'll be drawing a straight line across that point. The next thing I'm going to do is to measure the distance that I have from this point to my ease allowance is 18 inches. So I'm going to bring this 18 inches down to my full length. I'll be marking the 18 inches on my full length. 18 inches somewhere around the middle of this BUBU. Okay, and I'll be joining my points from my full length middle all the way up, and from this sleeve space I'm going to make a curve into this line and cut this out so that it's clear before I start placing other measurements. This is what my pattern is looking like so far. I'm going to cut open this folded side all the way to the full length. And after cutting it open, I'm going to go ahead and place my mismatch, right? So how to match it is I'm going to take this front and make it to face the front of this other one, so that when it opens up is like this, right? And then for the back, this other front be this way and this one will be this way. I have my front and back pieces. I've mismatched it. Okay, this is going to serve as the back and this is going to serve as the front. So it's going to be like you are putting this fabric wrong side facing each other inside this other fabric right side facing each other. If you place this fabric the other way around, that means this two fabric is going to be misplaced at the back, and you are going to place this one wrong side facing each other. So this is the back, you placed it together, right? And for this other one, this is the front and you place it together. Now that we are done doing our mismatch, the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure that everything is aligning. Now that we are done aligning, the next thing we'll be doing is to cut out the neckline. I'll be going in by 3 inches and coming down by 1 inch, and I'll make a curve. So this is going to serve as our back neckline. So for the front neckline, I'm going to come down with, and then I will draw a straight line to this point. Okay, so this for our front and this for our back. So now I'm going to cut out the back neckline first. Okay, and because this is the part I'll be using for my front, I'm going to be cutting it out next. So I'm just going to blend it. So this is our back pieces and this is our front pieces. For now, we are done with the back pieces, so I'm just going to take it out and keep it aside and continue working on our front pieces. For these front pieces, because of the piping that we have in front, I'm going to go in with 1 inch all the way to the hem of this pattern. And I will be joining these points with a straight line. I'm going to be cutting it out to try as much as possible to blend this part so that it's not looking edgy. I think this is good enough. Now this is what we have for the front pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is to keep this aside. So this is the rest of the fabric we have. I'm going to place it right side facing each other, right? So this is the other fabric, this is the damask fabric, right side facing each other. I'm going to draw a straight line away from the edges. From this line, I will place my 2.5 inches mark, and I will join these points with a straight line. Okay, now I'm going to cut this out. So this is what we'll be using for the piping in front of the BUBU. Okay, I'm going to keep this aside, and the next thing I'll be cutting out is the belt that is going to be inside. So for the belt, I'm just going to cut out pieces of the fabric. So this is going to serve as the hidden belt that we'll be using for this BUBU. Now that we are done cutting, we are going to start sewing, and we will start our sewing from the back because it looks like that's the easiest part of the dress. It's quite straightforward. So for the back, this is what we have, right? We have one piece of this, one piece of this. I'm going to stitch it down from the middle. I'm going to stitch with about 1/2 inch from the middle all the way to the full length. After joining the back pieces, this is what it's looking like. Okay, I'm going to keep it aside and I will be working on the front pieces. To work on the front pieces, this is what we have. We have 1 piece of this, 1 piece of this. The first thing we are going to do is to work on these border pieces that will be going in this middle of the front pieces. And to do that, what we are going to do is place this together, and from this top I'll come down with at least 12 inches. After marking this 12 inches point, I'm going to mark my knee point at 36. Okay, so this is going to be my knee point. Now look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a single stitch from this point to this point, right? I'll run a single stitch from this point to this point, and then I will fold it this way and iron it, okay, so that there are two separate parts. So I'm going to run that single stitch now, and then I'm also going to join these two pieces at the end with about half an inch. After joining the point that I marked out and ironing it out, this is what is looking like. You can see that the neck part is open and the down part is open, and it's just this middle part that is closed up, right? I'm going to get my front pieces. Okay, I'm going to keep this aside and I'll open up my front pieces. I'll bring my back pieces and I'll place it on these front pieces, right side facing each other. I'll be matching the shoulders. I'll make sure the shoulders are matching and pin it down. Now that I'm done pinning it down, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I will stitch the shoulders closed with half an inch. Guys, after joining the back and the front panel together, this is what we have. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to bring that border. This is the opening for the neck and this is the body of the border. The next thing I'm going to do is, at this joining here at the back, I'm going to make sure that this point is here, like this. Pin that down. Now I'm going to trace my neckline and pin it down. I'm going to pin it all the way to the full length, and when I'm done, I'm going to go and sew it round with about half inch all the way round to the full length. After stitching down my piping for the front, this is what I have. As you can see, this back piece aligned and the front, this is what it is looking like all the way to the end, right? The next thing I'm going to do is to get my pleats. And for my pleats, this is the front of the fabric. On this shoulder point from this sleeve end, I will be taking out 10 inches. So when we are sewing, I added 10 inches for the sleeve. That 10 inches, I'm going to mark it, right? Now from this 10 inches, I'm going to mark the 6 inches that we added for the pleats. So this is what I have. This is the 6 inches that we added for the pleats. Now for the length of the pleats, I'm going to measure from this joining that we have on the shoulder. I'll come to the front with my half length. The half length that I'm working with is 16 inches, okay? But I like to come up a little bit from the half length point with 1 inch. So I'll be marking at 15 inches, right? And then for the back as well, from this joining, I'm going to measure 15 inches and mark it here. So this is the 15 inches point. I'm going to make a line at the midpoint of this 6 inches, which is 3, okay? And I'm going to start pleating. So for my pleating, you want to make sure that your dress is on a flat surface. From this midpoint that I have here, on this line, on this 15 inches line, from this midpoint here, I will place my waist round measurement divided by 4 minus 1 inch. Okay, so my waist round measurement that I'm working with is 28 inches. I'm going to divide it by 4, and that is going to give me 7 inches, right? 7 minus 1 inch is 6 inches. I'm going to place 6 inches from this midpoint. and this is where our belt is going to be. So from this point that will have the belt line, I'm going to measure 6 inches because that's the size of our pleat, and I'll mark it here. I'll also come to the back at this 15 inches mark that we made here. From this midpoint, I'm going to measure 6 inches, which is our waist round measurement divided by 4 minus 1. Okay, and from this 6 inches here, I will measure another 6 inches. Okay, so now I'm going to pin down my points, and the points I have is here. Make sure that the 2 points are together. I'll pin that down. I'll also come here, pick it, make sure that the 2 points that I marked align, pin it down. See the 2 points that we have for the back here, so I'm going to pick it, make sure that they align, and I'll pin it down. Okay, so far this is what we have. I'm going to give this a nice press. I'm going to iron it to be flat, very flat, and I will do the same thing for this side of the dress too. After folding in this part and stitching it down, this is what it is looking like. The next thing I'm going to do is to attach my belt. Okay, so this is the front side of this dress, and remember when we were cutting, we cut out some pieces that we will be using as our belt. I already folded it and ironed it out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is at the tip of this line, I'm going to stitch this down here, and I'll also do the same thing for this side. Now after stitching down my belt, if you see from the inspo picture of this tutorial, you see that the lady has a headgear. So if you're interested in how to make the headgear, let me know in the comment section, and I will be uploading a video on how to make the headgear. But for now, this is what we have. After stitching down my belt, the next thing I'm going to do is to hem the sleeve. So after hemming the sleeve, I will also hem the dress, like the full length of the dress. I'll also be hemming it with at least 1.5 inches. Okay, so far, after attaching our belt and hemming the sleeve and the full length, this is what we have here. Okay, now I'm going to flip the back side over the front side, right side facing each other, right? And now I'm going to go ahead and sew with about 1 inch all the way to the full length. And after doing that, I went ahead to interlock all my rough edges and iron out my dress. This is the finished look. You see how nicely it's fitting. If you're interested in the headgear that we have on the thumbnail, please let me know, and I will do well to make a tutorial on how to do that. If you're yet to subscribe, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.